All right, this is Math 7, 8.4, angle bisectors, the answer key for page 312 to 313, number 3 and 6. So number 3, it says use a ruler and compass. Draw acute, one word, acute, angle PQR equals 50 degrees. So here's how you do this. You're going to draw a dot. You're going to take your compass, put the center of it on the dot. You're going to then draw a dot where it is 0. You're going to draw a dot where it is 60. I meant to say 50, because we're doing a 50-degree angle, not a 60-degree angle. Let's erase the one I didn't mean to draw. And then you are going to use your ruler and connect those dots. There. And there. Okay. Now I'm noticing I missed this dot slightly, so I might end up with slightly bigger angles than what I'm expecting. But let's label this P. And the middle digit in an angle, note when it says PQR, angle PQR, the Q has to be the one where those segments line up. Okay, so PQR. It says to bisect the angle. So we know that our way to do that is using a compass. So just set it to some reasonable size, not too small, not too big. And you're going to draw 3 circles using the same size. You're going to put it on Q. You're going to draw one circle that crosses both segments. You're going to lift it up, and where those points cross the segments, you're going to draw another one, another arc. Usually I draw so it goes from one to the other. And then the other spot where your first arc crossed the other segment, you're going to also draw one. And make sure that the second and third arcs, they cross somewhere. They cross right here. Okay, then you take your ruler and you connect those dots. Maybe a little closer. My pencil's sharper, I'm able to get much closer to it. So right there is your bisector. Now, how do we know it's a bisector? Well, we can measure it with our protractor. Line up with 0, and this goes to this line, which is 25. If we line up here with 0, this line goes up till 25, halfway between 20 and 30. You'll notice that protractors often have it where it goes 0 all the way to 180, and then the other side it goes 0 to 180. That's so that you can measure angles both ways. So there, you get 1 mark for drawing the triangle, or sorry, not triangle, the angle. You get 1 mark for each of these arcs, which is 3 more, so 4, and then 1 for the bisector. So question 3A is out of 5. Let's do 3B. It says to draw an obtuse angle, so GEF, 130 degrees this time. So draw a point, then draw another point on the 0 line, then go around 0. Make sure you're starting at the 0 and you don't accidentally go 130, because that's actually 50. You're at 0 here, and we go to 130, which is the one that lines up with 50 on this side, which is right there. Connect the dot with the 0 line, connect the dot with 130. Okay. Now the trick here is making sure that you have it set big enough. Okay, so forgot to label my circle, but we need to draw an arc that reaches both sides. This is supposed to be labeled G E, F. Oh, not E again, F. Okay. So I've drawn it once, and then I can take my compass and the points that intersect with those line segments, you're going to cross over. And then the other part where this first circle intersected, you're going to draw another arc. Oops, sorry, hit my camera. And where those cross over, you are going to draw a line from the center of the first circle, which is point E in this case, through that point where they cross over. Now don't get it mixed up with these other ones. It's where the second and the third arcs cross over, is right there. And lo and behold, what's half of 130? Yeah, you're right, 65. So if we take this, it should be somewhere around 65 degrees. Sadly, I'm a little bit off. I'm noticing I started a little bit over further than I should have, but I'm still very close. And then here, we'll measure this one, line it up with the 0, and yes, it's about 65. It's a little less here. So I didn't draw it perfect. It probably should have come a little bit over, but it's close enough. So we drew our angle as 1 mark, each circle is a mark each, and this bisector is another, so that's 5 marks there. If I were maybe using this to construct something, I'd probably redraw it. Question 6 says to draw a line segment 8 centimeters long called HJ. So I'm going to draw that, start at 0, 8. Yeah. It is called HJ. Then it says that we need to draw the perpendicular bisector of HJ. I'm going to make sure this is greater than 4 centimeters, which is half of the length of this. And I'm going to draw an arc. Good. And then I'm going to put it on the other end of the line at H. And I'm going to draw my arc. I keep getting my pencil in the way. It's better to use a shorter pencil because it doesn't get in the way as much. And then I will line my ruler up. I noticed I was missing a bunch with my previous questions because I was looking at the shadow and not the actual edge of the ruler. So here we go. Oh, I missed again. I'll try again. There we go. I think that looks better. Okay, so I have my perpendicular bisector. So one for each of these, one for making the perpendicular bisector. That is a right angle here, it's a right angle there, it's a right angle there, it's a right angle there. So those are all right angles. And it says here, so that was part A, was drawing this. You'll get a mark for that. Part B says to bisect each right angle in part A. So there are 4 right angles here, and we need to bisect those angles. So now it's the angle bisection. So all you need to do is stick this here on the middle. I'm going to shrink this a little bit. And because I'm going to be bisecting each angle, I'm going to draw a full circle around, and I'm going to use the same size for all of this part. Okay, so for each angle that I'm going to bisect, I'm going to use the same circle. Then I'm going to lift up, use the same size, and where it intersected these segments, I'm going to draw a circle. Okay, and where it intersected with this one down here, I'm going to draw a circle as well. And where it intersected over here, I'm going to draw another circle. Now we've got 2 points, this one and this one that I've emphasized here, that would be the bisector of these angles. So I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to line it up, and I'm going to draw my line through. But what's interesting is I could actually just go straight through, and I don't need to worry about drawing another circle here, because this here is actually where this circle that I could draw here would line up. Let's do it. Let's just show that. I'm going to show it. You don't have to do this, but this is just to prove it. This circle, same size, that goes through here, it's going to line up right where this line, this bisector, angle bisector, lined up with this circle I drew here. Let's do that. Do you see that? It lined up perfectly. So you don't actually have to draw all the circles. You don't have to do a different bisector for each of these. And in fact, this one here that we're going to draw a bisector here, angle bisector, it's going to go straight through and be the angle bisector of the opposite angle. So if you have a bunch of right angles with each other, you actually get the bisector here. So we bisected each angle in part A. We needed to draw 3 circles for sure, of 1 in the middle to start. So 1 in the middle, then 3 more. So that would be 4 marks and 2 bisectors. That's 6. So part B, that's part of B, and that's the other part of B. And then part C says, how many angle bisectors did you need to draw in part B? So C, the answer is 2. You only needed to draw 2 because you could just continue through and draw the other side. So explain why you need this many. Because you could use 2 of them to draw the other bisectors. Okay, this circle up here, this one I drew, notice it also lines up here where this bisector was, and yet this circle we didn't even need to draw up here, the semicircle, or arc, I should say. So part C is another mark for saying 2. Okay, so 8 plus 5 plus 5 is 18 marks for this assignment.